Greetings, Spencer here with another edition of SaaS Metrics School. Welcome. Hope everyone is doing great. So today we are talking the methods to run retention analysis. Of course, the recent Klaviyo S1 filing, they're going public soon. A lot of great data, and of course, some controversy around how they calculate gross revenue retention. So check out a couple episodes ago. I covered that, a very non-standard way to run GRR. But today, let's talk about two ways to run retention analysis because there are a lot of purists out there, which I'm not saying they're wrong, but we have to be practical with the data that we have. And as a practicing SaaS CFO, there's the theory of it, but then there's the actual operations and the data that we have and the systems that we have. And what can we actually do with that data? So, first, of course, there are two metrics for retention analysis. One is gross revenue retention. That's looking at the revenue that we keep from our existing customers after accounting for downgrades and churn. Now, check out the Klaviyo episode on that. They do it a little bit differently, which is weird. And then net revenue retention. So that is like GDR, but we can take credit for expansion. So we take expansion offset by downgrades and churn from our existing customer base. Now, remember, there is no new revenue coming into the retention formulas for brand new customers. So we have GRR, we have NRR. Now, two methods to run revenue retention analysis. So first is the cohort method. So we look at a group of customers. For example, we acquire 20 new customers in January and 20,000 of MRR, and we track the amount of AR or MRR over time each month, and we track the number of customers. So we can also do customer retention with that. So that's the cohort method. We track that same group of customers each month over time. And then we have the aggregate method, and that's the aggregate revenue retention. This is the very common, I'd say very practical way to run retention analysis. And in due diligence, always requested. They're going to request your MRR schedule and they're going to run aggregate revenue retention analysis. Now, they may want to slice and dice that by ICP, by geo, SMB versus enterprise. Be prepared for that. But with the aggregate retention method, we're looking at our layers of MRR. So our beginning balance, the new coming in, expansion, contraction, and churn. And of course, we can take those layers. We're not including new, of course, but we can take those layers of MRR and calculate aggregate retention, both GRR and NRR. So that's the aggregate method. It's very popular, very common, always requested in due diligence. So be prepared for that. I also have another episode on the MRR schedule. So those are the two main ways to run retention analysis. And I've got some great retention templates on my blog. Check out the show notes and you can download that. And it's like magic. If you've got your MRR schedule, you can paste it in there and it's going to run customer, GRR, and NRR retention. And also, it's going to expose weaknesses in your data. If it produces some really funky retention numbers, better go back and look at how you're building that MRR schedule to improve it because it needs to be almost perfect. So two methods to run retention analysis. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. And if you find value in this, I'd love a 5-star review and rating. I really appreciate it. And thanks a lot for joining.